Serena, can you hear me? Okay, so I'll make sure.
Testing here too, Serena. Can you hear me? Okay.
Hello, everyone. We will call the meeting to order. It is now 10:08 a.m. I would like to show the agenda and then we'll move on from there. Can anyone see it yet? Just a moment. My apologies about the changing. It's a new laptop. It's all kinds of new stuff for me. So here's the agenda. And board members present will be noted. There are no absent board members today. And we will go ahead and pull down the agenda so that we can see better. Give me just a moment. All right, board members, do we approve the agenda as read? Seeing the affirmative, we will do so. Moving to number 3 on the agenda. Any changes when speaking to the approval of June minutes?
I would suggest that we change the item on the meeting minutes just to minutes, so there is a little less confusion. That would be my suggested change of the labeling.
This is Tricia again. Okay, great. We'll make note to change that. Moving on to item number 4 on the agenda. I have a very small president's report. Given the current state of affairs, we are still under stay-at-home. DHHSC is closed. Fresno County is on the watch list now. We need to ensure that we are continuing to stay safe and healthy and not spread the sickness, to do all of the CDC recommendations, washing hands and mask wearing, etc. And I'm just checking in why we, hang on just a moment. The reason we're voicing is so that Serena can continue to take the minutes while the board meeting is happening. So typically we don't use interpreters during the meeting. We don't need to see them, but let me continue with my president's report. We do have 3 new advisory council members. James Solarte is from Salinas and is hard of hearing. We also have Hade Sanchez from Merced, who is also hard of hearing, and the third member, Yufeng Pigdana Lee, also from Salinas, and is deaf. All 3 advisory council members are new. We're very excited about that. Congratulations to all 3. In terms of Fresno and Visalia, if anyone is interested in joining the advisory council, please do so. If you're interested on more details, please email Jesse Lewis. Email is on our website, but so that you have it, it's jessel@dhhsc.org. And again, if you'd like to join, please know that you're welcome to do so. The Advisory Council is a support role for DHHSC and the agency overall, and it's not just for Fresno, but for all areas that this agency serves. And it's much like a joint task force. Instead of it being separated, all 4 areas work together. And we do so through Zoom. So the president's report is done. I will move it over to the vice president that we don't have. So there will be no vice president's report. Moving on to the secretary's report.
Secretary has nothing to report.
Treasurer's report. Steve.
I would also like to share my screen. Give me one moment. Still working on sharing the screen. Are you able to see that clearly? Tricia, are you able to see that clearly? Okay. This is the treasurer's report for June. Remembering that June is the last month of our fiscal year. It is important that we expend all of the funds annually. The DSS checks to ensure that we have expended those funds before we receive the new allocation. Monies that are not expended are returned back to the state, and that does not help our funding situation. So it is important that we show that we have used the money well and expended all of the funds. We did a great job. We expended all of the funds to the last penny. And if you view the report, you can see we received $1,217,000.
$62,017.
And expended, I'm sorry, I lost that, for June 30th. Then July 1st, we begin new funding for the year. Are there any questions for the month of June?
Pam, did you have a question?
I did not get all of the figures that Steve was representing. At what point?
I'm not sure which point, but
$121,138.43 is the monies for the interpreting, accounts receivable for the interpreting funds. Was that followed? Okay. Any additional questions? Okay, next we'll review the month of July, and I'll put that slide up. Looking at the month of July, we received the same funds, $1,532,017 for the fiscal year 2020 through 2021, running July 1st till June 30th of 2021, correct, Michelle? So what you see here does not mean we are out of the funds yet. We want to ensure that we continue to utilize the funds we've been allocated throughout the year. If you look at the accounts receivable for interpreting, you see the 21,380 some odd figure. Michelle, if you want to explain a little bit more about the interpreting information, the accounts receivable.
Yes, and just so everyone is aware, it's taking time right now because businesses and organizations and school districts, et cetera, with whom we have contracts are sending what they can, but with the COVID situation, payments are being put off, and we're getting, we're sending out our 30-day, 60-day letters, et cetera. But most are starting to come in, but they're letting us know, hey, we're working on it. And often what happens is, oh, do you mind resending it? We lost the invoice. So we have to go back, research it, and resubmit it to them. And there's some back and forth, and then we get payment. But our goal is to get every single penny. Does that suffice?
Okay, what Michelle explained is why we still have that carryover from the last fiscal year into this fiscal year. And those funds are still owed due to the situation that Michelle just explained, the delay in payment due to COVID. Any questions in regards to this information? At the top where you see the accounts receivable grants, we have a variety of grants, local and otherwise, where we receive funds, and that is separate from the DSS funds. So that is why we have a separate line item for that. So you are able to clearly see, and it is clearly delineated as to the funds we receive through grants. Any additional questions? And that is all for the treasurer's report. Thank you.
Okay. Back to Tricia. Thank you, Steve, for going over those. It's really interesting to see the impact of COVID on our budget. I know that will all work out. And now I'll turn it over to Michelle for the Executive Director's Report.
Okay, great. First of all, I do want to mention, as was mentioned, we have spent penny, and we ensure that we spend every penny. We do not want to send back any funds to the DSS. It is very important that we need every penny in order to run the agency. I also want to let you know, if you have noticed in the report, that we are still in the black for this fiscal year. So that is looking like probably $5,000 to $9,000 in the black, which is impressive. We had expected to be in a deficit and in the red as a result of COVID, but it does not appear that that is going to be the case. We do have an audit upcoming this month, and we will provide the final numbers following that audit once all of those figures are reviewed. But we are thrilled at the situation of being in the black. What you see in the deficit is because we are in the first month of our fiscal year. Typically in the summertime, interpreting revenue is slower. We hope that that will accelerate in the fall and we'll have additional revenues. There are many interpreters that are moving to working on Zoom and online, and that is a current reality. But I know the budget is important, so I will review some of that information with you. I have applied for a number of grants, and for whichever grants we have received, we are grateful. It is difficult to predict whether funds will be available in this day and age in the current state. So we have received the EDD funds. We've also received the Fansler Foundation funds for our deaf
Development family program.
And we've received Hardin Foundation funds as well for Deaf Access, which provides advocacy for individuals in the Salinas area. And the combined federal campaign was accepted again for another year. So state and federal employees are able to contribute funds towards our agency if they so choose. United Way Merced made a new COVID-related grant available, and that is
Rise United.
Rise United, and that is for the Merced office. We acquired that and we are thrilled. That will support 2 Merced staff members and services for that office. And we are grateful to all of them for that approval. We have also applied, but were denied for 3 other grants. The Community Foundation of Monterey Peninsula was denied. The Deaf Literacy Program was denied. We were hopeful, but we were denied. We will try again. And the Cigna Foundation was also denied for the D-Well Health and Safety. The Wish You Well Foundation was denied. That is for Deaf Bilingual Literacy Program. But those who know me know that we will apply. We are persistent and we continue to apply until we get those grants. So Jesse and I will continue to work on that collaboratively, working with United Way of Tulare and EDD. Our perseverance and persistence paid off. So we will not give up now. We are waiting now for review from yet another foundation, the Monterey Peninsula Foundation, and that is for our ongoing program with the Communication Assistance for Salinas. We are waiting to see whether or not that will be approved. We also have a new general campaign in Monterey entitled the Monterey County Gives program. It is a new program. We have applied. We will wait for approval, and that would allow individuals to donate to DHHSC. I also want to let you know about a new exciting opportunity. Some of the CARES Act funds for coronavirus. The city of Fresno received funding. The EPU, Exceptional Parents Unlimited, reached out to me and asked whether or not we would want to partner with them and various organizations who serve individuals with disabilities and vulnerable people, such as senior citizens or those experiencing domestic violence. So there are 5 or 6 agencies that will be partnering together. We have completed the application. It appears that it will be improved. They are very impressed with the submission. We are awaiting approval. Those monies will fund us for 2 major areas. The first being deaf staff outreach, speaking with community people about coronavirus. There are many in quarantine, wanting to get the word to the community. We do not do contact tracing because that is medically related. However, if we do find a deaf or hard of hearing individual or a family member who has that, they will reach out to us. We will go out with an interpreter, and that grant will pay for a lot of the interpreting services, videos, presentations, meetings, training, and the like as it relates to COVID-19. So we are hopeful to receive those funds. And it's nice to be able to partner with other organizations. That is DHHSC, Marjorie Mason Center, Emergency
RICD.
Central Valley for the Blind, and Easter seals. The Valley Center for the Blind, RICV, again, and a few others will join us in collaboration. So that will be a nice coordinated effort. In terms of staffing and the staff updates, Marielle Ortiz has recently started with us, or will just started on August the 3rd. We are thrilled that she is joining our staff in Merced. We needed to move forward with that because of the Rise United grant. Remember, we received $10,000, so our staff had to start. So obviously through Zoom, we are providing training, doing all of the training and meeting with clients, social distance in mind, and working virtually. Because we are still working remotely, that means all of our events, all of our workshops will now be presented through Zoom. We are training community members on how to utilize Zoom and planning our Deaf Awareness Week as well. Deaf Awareness Week will take place September 21st through the 25th, and we are currently working on the agenda for that week and the various activities. Once that is completed, we will be sure to send that to deaf studies instructors, ASL instructors, interpreting instructors, and the like.
I will PHW plan
inform the teachers of what our plans are for Deaf Awareness Week, DAWR, but we will reach out to you and let you know. We also have the tweens and teens chat because kids are isolated, they're lonely, they're at home, and parents are reaching out to us asking if we have anything available to allow children, tweens, and teens to meet. So we are setting up these Zoom virtual communication avenues. And First Five Fresno is one source of funding, then the other funding is coming from CDSS. Because the fall awareness, the September awareness is coming, we will be working through Zoom video, maybe car parades, Halloween celebrations, Christmas celebrations, all will be through video virtually, remotely, and through Zoom. The last two items of my report include the fact that we will have a graduate deaf social worker intern that will be coming to work with us beginning the 25th of August. And again, she will be working with us through Zoom and VP. But we need someone to work with individuals who is deaf and hard of hearing, and that is great. She is not going to be graduating and leaving the area. She plans to stay. Some of you are maybe aware of AB 2257. We have had AB 5, which converted to AB 1850, which converted to AB 2257. In regards to that bill, in writing my report, I am waiting for the language because the Senate had their hearing on Wednesday, and Senator Mitchell asked Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez whether or not she had included sign language interpreters and real-time captionists on the list of exemptions. Specifically, we were told that she was working on it, but we have not seen whether or not the language was included. Last night it was published, it is there, but there is slight revision needed. But it does appear to be more than likely that interpreters will be included in that exclusion. If that is not the case, that will dramatically impact us as an agency. We are not able to hire as employees all these interpreters. That is impossible. And we expressed that concern to Assemblywoman Gonzalez. And real-time captionists also want to keep their independent contract status. They prefer to be able to work independently where the need is. And our interpreters do not work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. We provide services 24/7, and that ensures that we are able to be compliant with the ADA. So it is optimistic. It appears as if those groups have been added to the Assembly bill. If we need additional revision, I will let you know, but that concludes my report for today. Thank you. Yes.
This is Steve Longo. I have a question for you, Michelle. Great report, first of all. Thank you so much. Serena is back. So we want to know about notes while she was gone. Seemingly we have that worked out, so I'll give that floor back to Steve. Back to Steve. Again, Michelle, I wanted to say thank you for your report. I know, Serena, you missed part of it. Maybe we can catch it later. I was going to ask a question. Maybe some folks are not aware of that bill, so I wanted to clarify a bit. There was a new law put in place requiring all independent contractors to become a member of the organization they work for. The assumption was that there were more problems letting them work as independent contractors, according to the government. And really the feeling was that although initially they didn't think interpreters and real-time captionists need to be part of that waiver, obviously that's something we've been fighting for. We have been sending letters, et cetera, and we're very hopeful that this will be successful. My question for you, Michelle, is with COVID and all of that and the physical distancing that's required and events being canceled, and maybe for the first time VDF, Valley Deaf Festival, will not happen in November, which is very sad, being that it's a large event for the agency. Do we look, are we thinking that next year is going to be much the same? In terms of Martha's Vineyard, because that was a huge event. It was the biggest ever in its attendance, having hundreds of people there. Is that something that will likely be put on hold?
Good question.
Good question. Sure.
Back to Tricia. We're going to go ahead and skip number 9, no fundraising report, and move to board comments so that we can continue with this discussion. So.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing up Martha's Vineyard. The plans for the spring are still up in the air. We need to wait to see what is happening with coronavirus. If we move forward and plan and the numbers continue to rise, we're not able to host it, we don't want to make a change. At this point, there is nothing planned for the fall. Spring is up in the air. What we are trying to do is find a deaf performer that can perform on Zoom, so we as a community can engage and maybe pay a $5 fee to be able to watch that and receive a link in order to watch the performance, just to keep the spirit in a positive way. With Valley Deaf Festival being removed, that's an annual entertainment that we will miss, but we have reached out to a few entertainers looking into finding reasonable fees. We certainly don't want to run a deficit as a result of the event. VDF will be postponed to next year. The performer will stay on schedule for next year. We were excited about the theme, Wizard of Oz, so we will keep the same theme, but it will all be moved to 2021. In terms of the holiday luncheon, we have changed that to a holiday car parade, which means we will be making food at DHHSC. We will have individual plates covered with foil, and as car comes through, we will hand out those plates. There will be somebody dressed as Santa greeting the children. And so that will be our substitution for that event that is typically held. So we are looking for ways to substitute out those events and yet adhere to the social distancing. The December holiday luncheon typically is on the Wednesday before Christmas. The car parade will be that same day and approximately the same time frame, depending on how long it takes for the cars to move through the parade and pick up their food. our hope is that we'd be able to receive some stuffed animal for the kids and be able to hand that out along with the food items. Obviously, we need to wear masks, but do want to go ahead and include that.
And this is Steve Longo, and talking about Martha's Vineyard.
One moment, reviewing.
Okay, I have to click it every time. All right. Thank you. If we do the Martha's Vineyard event, and we, instead of doing it at DHHSC, do it on some virtual platform, I think we can still have the information, the history, the entertainment factor. Maybe we can have other performers.
And that is an idea. That is something we can certainly give consideration to run Martha's Vineyard through Zoom if necessary. With VDF, there are many people who have commented that they want to keep that particular event as a live event. This year we have no donations because of COVID. So that is why our discussion was to keep VDF for next year as a live event with performers in person.
So it was just brought up in terms of fundraising, and with COVID and such, we're a bit limited with the events that we can have and the style we've typically had them. So I think we need to be creative with fundraising, and maybe, I don't know if we should throw in ideas now or discuss it later, but definitely something to consider.
Okay, are there any additional general board comments? Anyone? I do, excuse me, one moment. Looking at the comment in the chat via YouTube, I do want to address that comment, but we can hold off until public comments at the end.
This is Steve. Let's do that. I think in terms of the board meeting, I think we need to keep that to board business and reports, and then the public comment. It would be a great time to have that discussion.
That sounds like a plan. So any comments that are noted in the chat will be addressed. We will view those comments and address those during the public comment section of our agenda. Seeing that there are no other general board comments, we will move forward to item number 11 on our agenda. Unfinished business, and there is none. We have no unfinished business to deal with, so we will move to new business. And we have a number of items there to address. The first item under new business that we need to address is potential new board members. That is important and exciting. We have 4 individuals who have expressed interest in becoming a board member. One is here with us now. The other is watching through YouTube. And the names of those individuals are Jessica Rivera, who is from Visalia. She is hearing. We also have Nicole Bruno, who is also from Visalia, who is deafblind. We have Jamie Johnson Clay, who is also deaf and from Fresno now. I believe she's relocated, correct? And the 4th individual is Sal Garcia, who is from the Visalia area, Tulare area as well. So with those 4 individuals, what I would like to do is do an emergency vote allowing those members to join. I'm wondering if I could have a motion to vote in those 4 individuals. My mind is not quite working the way it should today, but I would like a motion to bring in those 4 individuals so that we can expand our board as is needed. We are at a maximum minimum of 4. And so if one person is absent, we are not able to move forward with board business. So we desperately need those additional members. And if I could have the gallery view. I will leave that in gallery so everyone can see one another. Okay.
I move that we approve the additional 4 board members you just named.
I'm not seeing anything.
Okay, I will make the motion again. I move that we approve those 4 interested individuals that you just named as new board members. Steve Longo says I second that. Back to Tricia. Thank you, Serena, for making that motion. We will now open the discussion.
Nikki, all I'm able to see is you and Michelle.
Okay, Steve's saying we want to make sure we have their application on file. So as soon as we have all 4 of those applications, I think we're good to go.
Are there any opposed? Serena, Patty, Jamie, everybody okay? Okay, we will go ahead and call for the vote. All in favor? Okay, it looks unanimous. All opposed? Obviously not. So we do want to congratulate our 4 new board members. And in October, we will see 4 new faces joining our board. Thank you for joining us today, Jamie, and congratulations. It is important for these 4 new members to be aware of certain things, and I will be emailing you a form that you will need to keep on file, important information that you need to review and keep on file. And looking forward to your membership. Thank you. I'm excited.
This is Steve. I think we should change to an electronic form versus a paper form. I think that would make the application process easier, and then we're not having to worry about signatures and scanning and sending.
Steve, do you have time to convert it to an electronic format? I'll
Yes.
send that to you.
Yes, I will.
Okay, back to Tricia. I will send that to Steve. And if you can go back to Spotlight View now, please. Back to Spotlight View. This is Tricia. The next important item under new business is reviewing the strategy and goals for the year 2016 to 2020. We are at that point, and we need to consider and review what changes and improvements have been made and what needs to be made for the coming year.
This is Steve Longo. Isn't it supposed to be a 4-year period instead of 1 year?
I'm sorry.
This is Steve Longo again. Typically, strategic plans are 3, 4, or 5 years. Do we want to make it a 5-year plan or a 4-year plan? I don't know, Michelle, what do you feel might be the best?
3 to 5 would be my thought. And I do want to add, typically it is a 3 to 5 year plan. However, I am aware that we have community comments starting at 11. That would be a good time to gather the community's concerns. And then we as a board can discuss how and if and when to include those strategic goals, but we are almost up with our time with the old plan. So yes, time has moved very quickly.
This is back to Steve. So in that case, Michelle, as you've mentioned, we should maybe start the strategic plan for 2021 and forward and just keep that general for now as it is. I don't know, board, your thoughts?
Back to Tricia, I would agree. I do think we need to make that proposal, and that we need to set up a new strategic plan for 2021 moving forward, keeping that fairly general. And then we can have additional discussion in October and December. And that would be perfect timing in order to share the information. So I would like to make a motion that we develop a new strategic goal and plan for 2021 forward.
This is Steve. As far as parliamentary procedures, we need another board member to make a motion and not the president.
And that's why we need more people, because we have had a problem in reviewing the bylaws. I can act in that position for now because we had not quite expanded. So with those 4 new board members, you're correct. I should not vote it either. With only 4 members, only should be voting as a tiebreaker. But with the expanded number in our board, then I can become a neutral person and not vote. So I am very much looking forward to the expanded numbers on our board. And if I could have the gallery view again, please.
This is Steve Longo. I want to know what it said.
I make a motion that we develop a new strategic plan for the year 2021 and as follows.
Steve Longo says I second.
And now all in favor? So indicated. The vote is unanimous, so we will make a note of that. And I have noted that the time is 10:50. I am wondering if we should skip, Michelle, the Giving Tuesday campaign. Do you want to move to that?
Yes, it's totally fine. I'm getting used to it. I just want to say the Giving Tuesday campaign is always the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. So it always starts right after that. And we will discuss then what the needs are. For example, most recently, the Giving Tuesday, May 5th was a fundraiser for laptops because many of our laptops are either broken or wearing out or too old. And so with those monies, we were able to purchase 2 laptops. So November is going to be a big one because this becomes a nationwide giving event. And so we'll develop a list of items. And once that campaign is up, we will ask the board for some help in getting the word out to friends, family, colleagues, etc., for the Giving Tuesday for DHHSC. Thank you.
I'd also like to add a comment. This is Steve. As Michelle has indicated, I have noted that when I give to DHHSC, that helped to set up 15 computer. I have noticed that some of the laptops are running very slowly and definitely need to be replaced. After the laptops, I definitely believe we need to focus on our internet connectivity. And I will bring that up for future discussion, looking at the costs and the strategy to improve and raise funds to improve our internet connectivity that is desperately needed.
Back to Tricia, agreed. And as a board, we hope that we can support that and getting that word out. Part of my plan is hopefully be able to use some of my students to work in that effort as well. So we definitely want to get the word out.
Absolutely.
As a reminder, Deaf Awareness Week is set for September 21st through 25th. I was wanting to know, does DHHSC have a plan for that? Just so that people can know what to expect.
Yes, we are currently planning various Zoom related events for the evening of each of those days, Monday through Friday. We have a trivia game. If you recall last year, one of our most popular event is Who's Signed It Anyway? And that was based on the famous show, the improv program. So that is being changed to a signed version of that program. And we will repeat that. Whose line is it anyway has been changed to whose sign is it anyway? It was a lot of fun and we plan to repeat that. We will also have a trivia event. We are coming up with various other events. Once the flyer is made with the exact plans, that will be sent out to all of you. Please include and get the word out. We want to make sure that students are participating at this event. We will be sure to get that out to the various instructors and teachers. We're also discussing offering a short, brief awareness presentation, deaf awareness, as it relates to maybe art programs for children's, where we need to work with the teachers and the time frames that we have. But they have 4 hours of instruction every day they are expected to provide for the children. So we're trying to work collaboratively with teachers in Fresno, Clovis, Unified, Fresno County, 4 hours of instruction a day. So we are trying to collaborate with them to use a small portion of that time to interact with the students, maybe with art projects and various other ideas. We want to plan events, and that is a part of our numbers. We have lost some of the CE, the credits, because of other events that have been canceled. So we need to come up with other strategies via Zoom.
Back to Tricia. And there will be interpreters, I hope. I know that there will be hearing parents and hard of hearing individuals in attendance as well. Looking at the time, we are almost out and we will need a small break. For those who are watching, you'll have a break to run to the restroom or get refreshments or whatever. But we will start community comments probably about 11:10. Interpreters need a bit of a break and then we'll proceed. So looking to public comments, there was a comment posted. So JR has joined us and will share.
Hello, everyone. I am one of the moderators for today's board meeting, and we have received 3 comments through YouTube. The first comment was from Darcy Lassard, and Darcy has asked about the Valley Deaf event, keeping that event, but moving it to an online event, feeling that we could present it via webinar, something that could be viewed and enjoyed, and very supportive of that idea. The next comment came from someone by the name of Alexander Sanborn. And Alexander has commented asking about creating a fundraiser via Zoom to show variety of skills and performances, presentations as something that others can watch and enjoy. And those funds could go towards support of DHHSC. The third individual who has commented is Nicole Bruno. And Nicole is very excited to be joining the board and looking forward to receiving the email that was promised. Thank you very much. Back to you.
Dr. Tricia, thank you. Beautifully said. We will wrap up the public comments and now move to announcements, the next item on the agenda. I do have one announcement to share. I'm going to also share my screen. And here it is. Deaf Women of Color. So the event called Wheels for DWC. So I'm showing it to the members joining us through the YouTube channel can also see it. But it's very exciting. Deaf kids will be able to ride their bikes and other individuals will be able to support this super exciting event. So I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. And Steve Longo is asking, is this the 8th time we've done this event?
Oh, is it on August the 8th?
Yes, sorry, August 8th.
They've already traveled halfway through looking at the dates. Do you know how many people have been included so far? How many people are riding?
Not yet. I've received an email and I wanted to share about the donation opportunity, even $1 or $2, everything really adds up. Okay, looking to the board, are there any additional announcements?
Seeing none.
All right, so we will adjourn the meeting at 10:59. So we will begin the community comments at 11:10. So actually we will adjourn at 11. It just changed to 11. So go ahead and use the next link to get connected to the next one. So this one will close and we will open the next one. See you at 11:10.